Welcome your faces back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Can't thank you enough for the support. It really goes a long way. We're trying to churn out the content here for you and keep it quality and exciting. So let me know you like that by hitting that like and subscribe. Give it a share to your friends. A lot of work goes into these videos and we're trying to improve the quality as well for you. So hopefully we've got our hands on this new computer and everything feels good. So that should be exciting. But in 3 days' time, almost to the hour, Carlton face GWS in what will be an exciting Round 6 clash on Saturday the 20th of April 2014 at Marvel Stadium. And this is a really intriguing game for me. This is a really exciting game. You've got one side unbeaten in GWS, many people's favourites to win the flag already at Round 6 stage. Carlton 4-1 on the back of a disappointing loss, but with some grindy wins in that, beating Brisbane, Richmond, destroying North Melbourne, and a comeback victory versus Fremantle. GWS, they've blitzed the field already. They've beaten the reigning premiers Collingwood. Not as quite as impressive as a victory as Carlton had, but they did destroy North Melbourne. They beat West Coast Eagles by a canter. They were very impressive versus Gold Coast, and they were run incredibly close by St Kilda. But what do we know about St Kilda? What do we know about GWS? It's a real quick brand. It's about getting the ball forward and enacting that pressure. They are a really interesting side when you see it. Their goal efficiency is number 1 in the comp. Their shot efficiency is number 2. And their attacking opponents D50 is a number 1 factor there. Their set shot quality is number 6, where their open play shot, which basically means organic, non-marked shots, is 15. And what that means there is they're a very methodical side with incredible leads. They have an incredible rotation in the midfield, which makes it really hard to gain any form of ascendancy versus these sides. You'll notice that as well when you see this side play, that they're a very similar makeup, but they really retain the ball better than Carlton. They have more ball retention stats than Carlton. However, they use it so well. It's a very patient build-up from about the back line to the midfield. But once it gets into that midfield, they go, go, go. And their leads are incredible. A real rotatey side with real rambustious utilities all around it. They look to give the ball inside. They look to overlap run. This is a really tough game for Carlton because historically, Carlton struggle with slow, methodical sides. But this year, what we've seen is when people bring a bit of pace to the ball, like Adelaide last week, where they go short, they pick around the zones and then go. That is a struggle, and that is a big thing with Carlton. This high defensive line. And this high defensive line, although slingshot ability is incredible, it is an issue. And you'll see GWS build their system more on their attacking prowess. Their defensive metrics are a little bit different. They're only the 7th ranked side for defending D50. However, they do give up the 6th easiest goals in the league. And what Carlton have got to do here is look at their ability as a club. They have the 4th best goal efficiency in the comp and the 3rd best shot efficiency. The problem is the quality of the shots are in that mid-table position. They're in that lower half, right? That lower half of the Blues. And what the Blues have got to do is look at their against set shots. It's the easiest side to kick goals in. We are ranked bottom for the basically what that means is the effectiveness of where we concede. And that is the high defensive line. Once you get back, you will have outs all behind the ground once you get behind the midfield and that. And Carlton have got to look at this game here and go, okay, we have to be good forward pressure. We have to stop that quick ball to allow us to get time in. And when you look at Adelaide last week, their ability to run back was incredible, that they could create almost 22 on 22. That they could create almost 18 versus 18 very quickly by slowing Carlton's first kick. And this has been something we've seen versus Fremantle and something that we really did see against Adelaide. Carlton's ability to slingshot was taken away by pushing them out wide. And we've lost a few key pillars this week that allow us to do that. 1 in Mitch McGovern and 2 in Adam Sard. And what that means is crisis, in my opinion, creates opportunity. And the opportunity here is Carlton have to replace a line-breaking runner but they also have to replace someone that can get them going forward. And I think the player that can get them going forward in this avenue is Lockie Cowan. Lockie Cowan has been playing that loose role. We've seen Kemp being shrouded more of a defensive responsibility, which he's growing with. I feel like Lockie Cowan may be the man who gets the nod if Carlton wants to be ostentatious. The way that you beat GWS is you've got to get the ball moving quickly. They are very good at taking their time. You have to speed them up. But when you have the opportunity, they're an incredibly good defensive set side. So this would allow Carlton to not play so advanced because of his ability to kick so far. You'd imagine Jordan Boyd swings straight into the Zach Williams role, and Zach Williams almost takes that pseudo-Sard role, which then opens up a role for someone who's going to run with the ball. And that is none other than Alex Chincotta. Alex Chincotta is actually the fastest player clocked at our club with the ball in our hand, which is an incredible, incredible feat. And someone that I feel that when you look at his VFL work over the last couple of years, this is what he's known for. Before he's been deployed as that kind of defensive stopper, but he is an offensive footballer, and this is something that Carlton will be looking at this week to really take the game on. There's no way they can go in this game and sit back. If you sit back, GWS are probably the best side in the league this year at pulling you out of your zones. So Carlton are going to have to methodically look at how they structure that. The other option, of course, is Lewis Young. Do they bring Lewis Young in and allow Kemp to play more loose, and then Whittaker gets a pseudo-loose role, which Kemp's playing at the moment? That could come into it because Whittaker is an incredibly good ball user. And looking at GWS, they are very mobile. That's probably what would go against it for me. I think playing Cowan as that mid-third tall type player with Kemp really matches up with them very well. Now we know that Harrison Himmelberg will genuinely slot down back, which allows Carlton to be a little bit more focused. The other player that I really feel will give Carlton a little bit dynamic shift is how flat-footed we looked in the midfield last week. And that is mainly because of Pitternet. That's no disrespect to Pitternet, but he isn't going to give you 30 touches and burst through stoppages. So going back to the old way of Mackay and Mr. TDK, I feel allows Carlton to play an extra mid. And that mid there, I feel, is Jackson Binns. What that allows Carlton to do is keep that rotation at the forward half. And we saw that last week, that Ollie Hollands was deployed there. So was Elijah, so was Cottrell. They all bring a little bit of heat and pressure. Jackson Binns there, he's not going to bring you the pressure and bring you the defensive. He's going to keep you the running and the one-on-one running. And one thing that is a big strength of Jackson Binns is his ability to link up with his back half of his ground. And that has been a really key component this year with Jackson Binns' game in the VFL and also last year. He's worked hard at presenting for his defensive crew. It's really important that when we start to play these players, though, that Carlton look for that overlap run. That has kind of died since the Richmond game, where Carlton have been looking to exit out of stoppage very quickly. And that was kind of the reason that I was kind of calm with our stoppage game, in the terms of that the Blues had really found an avenue to overlap run quickly and get the ball deeper inside 50. It was annoying this week just gone against Adelaide that the Blues did have these leads and they weren't used. Particularly a great case in point was Blake Acres in the third quarter, steaming inside 50. Charlie Kerner was alone at centre-half forward. Matt Cottrell was alone just in the pocket, but Blake Acres chose to go to Harry, who was surrounded by three people inside the goal square. This is a big issue for the Blues of that when we go back to that quality of shots. Being one of the lowest ranked against and being mid-table for, that basically is telling you that Carlton hemorrhage easy shots at goal, which is what you kind of see with the eye. I know my feedback from watching people when we're doing the lives is, why is it so easy for opposition to score? That high defensive line is a big thing. Now, the turnover game has to be good this week against this mob. And that is very interesting that Adelaide play a similar method. That slow, methodical, pick you apart with kicks and then go when it's there, creating that overlap run. The Blues are going to really have to try and find a happy medium between high defensive line to press you in. And if that happens, the forward and midfield pressure has to be good. This wasn't so much of a defensive issue. This was more of a forward midfield pressure, allowing people to get into the guts of our defensive sets before. Carlton have got to start looking at that happy medium. Do we sit back at times and get them to come on? Because these boys are good enough to get there. It's interesting this year that the points from stoppage, though, haven't been as bad as people say. We still average 33 points per game scored. but it's the 36 that are conceding. And the reason for that is Voss is playing that high defensive line, very aggressive, particularly at the back of the stoppage, wanting to force the kick in there. What we talk about, speeding the players up, speeding the opposition up. This time last week, the Blues didn't speed the game up. And what that allowed is when you play that high line, them short kicks to pick apart your defensive sets. The Blues really, in this team, are going to be having to change something up, because at the moment, we're really seeing a team that is trying to find the happy medium, but it's not quite being executed. And this is going to be a big part of it with that pressure. The pressure needs to be on from the opening bounce. It wasn't there until the latter half of it. This is going to be a really good game, and the Blues are stacked against it. But it's really important that whoever comes in, if that's Young, if that's Binns, if that's Cowan, if that's Pomcotter, the guy behind me, we get behind them, because this game here, on paper, that they play quickly, we play quickly in the forward half. It's a real happy myriad of what we've been working on this turnover game. The turnover game and the midfield pressure, particularly the forward half pressure, has to be good. And it's going to be a key crux. I'm really looking forward to this game. Can't wait to watch it all on the watch along with you. Peace, love and light. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella